I'm 95 years old now. I was married to my husband for 64 years before he passed. And there's something I need to tell you, something most people don't like to hear. You probably married the wrong person, and that's okay. Truly, it is. Just stay with me a moment before you turn away, because what I'm about to share is the only reason we lasted 64 years together. And it goes against nearly everything you've ever been taught about love, marriage, and finding your perfect match. When I was 23, I married Walter. He was kind, handsome, steady in his work at the mill, and he could always make me smile. Everyone said I was the lucky one. My friends were happy for me. My mother cried joyful tears at the wedding. I truly believed I had found the one, the man I was meant to spend my life with. By year 3, I wasn't so sure anymore. He left dishes in the sink. He went quiet when I needed to talk. He wanted to talk when I needed silence. We handled money differently. He disciplined our daughter in ways that didn't sit right with me. We argued about his mother. We argued about my friends. We argued about things so small that today I couldn't even tell you what half of them were about. But back then, they felt like everything. I remember thinking, I've made a terrible mistake. This isn't what marriage is supposed to feel like. I must have chosen the wrong man. I was 27 years old. I had a 2-year-old daughter, and I was sitting over coffee with my neighbor Ruth, who had been married nearly 32 years over in Clarksville. I told her I wasn't happy. I told her maybe Walter and I just weren't right for each other. I waited for her to comfort me, to tell me I deserved better. Instead, she laughed. Not a polite little laugh, a real deep, honest laugh. Then she said something I have never forgotten. She said, "Honey, we all married the wrong person. The trick is deciding to make them the right one anyway." I didn't understand what she meant, not then. But here's what I understand now, all these decades later. The person you marry is not the person you stay married to. They can't be. Because people change. You change. Life reshapes you both in ways you could never imagine when you're standing at the altar on your wedding day. The man I married at 23 is not the man I said goodbye to at 87. Walter at 30 was ambitious, full of energy, and quick to impatience. Walter at 50 was worn down, worried about money, and hard to reach. Walter at 70 was soft, a little silly, and would reach over to hold my hand in the movie theater. Walter at 84 needed me to cut his food and remind him to take his pills every morning. So which one did I marry? All of them, and none of them. And I changed too. I was timid at 23, strong-willed at 40, broken at 51 when my mother passed, sure of myself at 60, terrified at 72 when the doctor used the word cancer, and patient at 80 in ways my younger self could never have managed. Not even close. If the Walter I married at 23 had met the woman I was at 51, he might not have even recognized me. We might not have gotten along at all, but we never had that choice. We grew together, even when we grew in different directions, especially then. Here's the part nobody really tells you about marriage. It's not about finding someone who completes you. That idea, I believe, has ended more marriages than it's ever saved. Marriage is about finding someone you're willing to keep choosing, even when choosing them isn't easy. There were years I didn't particularly like Walter. I'll be honest with you about that. There were whole months when I quietly counted the days until he went on his fishing trips up near Henderson Lake, just so I could breathe a little. There were arguments where I slept on the couch, lying there in the dark, thinking about what life might look like on my own. But I never stopped choosing him, not because I'm a saint, not because it was simple, but because I made a decision. I decided our marriage was worth more than whatever I was feeling in that moment. And here's what time taught me. The things that bothered me at 30 became dear to me at 60. His quietness, which I once thought meant he didn't care, I came to understand was just how he processed things. He wasn't shutting me out, he was thinking. And once I truly understood that, everything between us changed. The way he spent money, which had tested my patience for years, I eventually realized came from growing up with almost nothing in a small town. He wasn't careless. He was trying to prove to himself that he had finally made something of his life. When I saw it that way, I stopped fighting him and started understanding him. Marriage isn't 50-50. That's another pretty story people tell that just isn't true in real life. Some years it's 80-20, some years it's 90-10. After my surgery, there was nearly a full year where Walter did everything, the cooking, the cleaning, helping me to the bathroom. I couldn't give him anything except my company, and he never complained, not once. And there were years when I carried us both. When he lost his job at 53 and fell into a dark, heavy place. When his brother George died and Walter couldn't get out of bed for days, I held us together. Because that's what you do. You don't keep score. The moment you start keeping score, you've already lost something you'll never get back. I watch young couples today and I see how much they expect from each other. They want one person to be everything. Their best friend, their counselor, their travel partner, their co-parent, their financial equal, their emotional support, their intellectual match, their perfect companion in every way forever. No one person can carry all of that. No one. Walter wasn't my closest friend. That was my dear friend Caroline. We'd known each other since grade school in Millbrook. Walter wasn't my intellectual match in every way either. I read novels he'd never touch, and he understood engines in ways I never could. Half the time, we didn't even want the same things from life. But he was my partner, and that was enough. I'm 95 now. Walter has been gone 8 years, and I miss him every single day. Not because he was perfect, but because he was mine, and I was his. We built a life together. We raised a daughter. We survived job losses, illnesses, and the grief of losing people we loved. We laughed until we cried, and we cried until somehow we were laughing again. Did I marry the right person? I don't think that question matters anymore. I married a person, and then we both chose, again and again, to make it right. If you're in a marriage right now, and you're sitting there quietly wondering if you made a mistake, here's what I want you to know. You probably did. We all did. Marriage is a mistake you make on purpose, and then you work with everything you have to make it the best mistake of your life. The question isn't, did I marry the right person? The question is, am I willing to keep choosing this person, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard? Because love isn't just a feeling. It's a choice. And you make that choice every single day. I chose Walter for 64 years, and I would choose him again for 64 more.